Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily on this Hump Day edition. Ronnie Rance alongside Tommy Krysan. TK joining us today over at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, the home of the David DeLucci for City Councilman fundraiser Monday night over at Tremonti's. Fantastic food for that event. I'm at an undisclosed location presented by the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. And, of course, we're also presented by LaBerge. Everything we do is presented by LaBerge, Baton Rouge. Kim Ginn, Sean Malone, Bubba Willis, all the great staff over there at LaBerge do an amazing job. And go check them out, whether it's for March Madness, concerts, hotel stays, special nights at 18 Steak, you name it. Go to LaBerge, Baton Rouge. All right, TK. LSU women's basketball, the number 3 seed taking on number 2 seed NC State. They couldn't find a more further away location for this game that for both of these teams than Spokane, Washington. East Coast NC State, South Coast of LSU, all playing in Spokane, Washington. So only the proud, the few, and those with money will be traveling from those schools to Spokane, Washington last minute for that Sweet 16 matchup. LSU is played arguably two of their best games of the year in the playoffs, in the tournament, albeit not against the top teams, but just statistically and otherwise, they looked really sharp. They're finally kind of healthy. And, of course, NC State they're familiar with.
Yeah, no question about it. They played back on November 27th. LSU got a 16-point victory, 82-65. NC State's 28-6 overall. They're the number 2 seed in the tournament. LSU's a number 3. So somewhere along the line, they got ranked higher for the tournament than LSU. But as you said, the 2 games LSU played against inferior opponents, but it builds confidence. You feel like you're hitting on all cylinders, and you can't wait to for the ref to toss the ball up again. So and you got Kim Mulkey, one of the greatest coaches ever, and her staff in charge of everything. So I like LSU's chances. They are a 3.5-point favorite. Line's out already. That's a little bit early typically for women's basketball, but LSU's a 3.5-point favorite over NC State. And as you said, Spokane, Washington, can we maybe go to Hawaii and play, or Alaska, or go to London and play? I mean, can they get any further from Raleigh, North Carolina, and Baton Rouge, Louisiana?
If LSU wins, they're expected to play UCLA, number 1 seed, who is obviously in their same bracket. So that would be a tall task. But at that point, the pressure builds for both teams, and you're in the Elite 8, and anything can happen. Of course, LSU will have been very battle tested. I don't think UCLA is going to go, "Ooh, we got a 3 seed." They're going to be nervous too. So you saw where Juju Watkins out for the year, going to be out for a lot of next year, maybe all. Who knows? The one arguably the best player in the country in college basketball at USC on a breakaway layup. She already came into the game a little hobbled by an ankle injury that she suffered in the first round, and then she blew out her knee. It was clear that she was in a major pain, and it was a major injury. They carried her off the court. They revealed that on Monday night late that she did have a torn ACL. USC was able to win without her, but I don't know if they can win at all without her. This is Simone Augustus level type good. She's one of the all-time greats. And it's just a shame to see that happen. And like I said, who knows if she'll even play next year.
Yeah, one of the top players in the country, if not in the world. And Ronnie, I always hate to see injuries, at any level, because you and I haven't been athletes one time. You realize the work these people put in and the training, and things are so much better now than maybe when you and I played, as far as conditioning and taking care of the body and strength and conditioning people and trainers. But to see someone, like that, any player that gets hurt and then that ends what they're trying to chase, I mean, it's just tough to see. But we do all know that injuries are a part of sports, and it happens at the pro level, college level, high school, and youth sports. I mean, injuries do occur. So, but you hate to see that marquee name in the big-time tournament, and a lot of reaction nationwide, people sending their, best wishes, and, I'm sorry to hear, including Kim Mulkey, who made some comments about it.
All right, so LSU women's basketball. What time do they play and where and when?
6:30 Friday. I had them the other night minus 11 and a half, and they easily covered that. They won by 30. I'm going to take them and lay 3.5. I'm going to ride the wave. I'm going to ride Kim Mulkey and this team that's really, as I said, hitting on all cylinders.
You'll have to be LSU fans. Will have to be switching back and forth. LSU baseball plays at 6:00 on Friday. So and LSU
6:30.
Oh,
they both have a start time now. As you and I were talking before we rolled the camera, I mean, there's a chance of rain, a significant amount of rain Friday and/or Saturday in the Baton Rouge area. So we'll see how that goes. But Thursday night's game on the main platform of SEC Network. Thursday night's game, 7:00. LSU, Mississippi State. LSU looking to bounce back in league play, 4-2 after losing 2 out of 3 to Texas. Mississippi State has struggled a little bit, but it's SEC baseball, like we talked, and anything can happen. But we'll see what LSU can do. I'm going to assume Anderson goes to the bump Thursday, and we'll find that out. Coach Johnson's meeting with the media today, so probably going to find out what the pitching and do they change Shores? Do they change Ianson? Do they maybe flip them because of the one less day rest? All of that, I'm sure, will get talked about by Jay Johnson today, and people can talk about it today and tomorrow.
As far as the LSU baseball is concerned this weekend, as you mentioned, a rare Thursday, Friday, Saturday series, and with rain expected Friday, Saturday, Sunday is an option. It is in play. I confirmed with Sports Information Director Bill Franques for LSU before we went on air that Sunday they could potentially push back. All else fails, they have the opportunity to play on Sunday. So you have 4 days basically to play 3 games. So real good chance, of course, that LSU will get the whole series in. You just may be a little bit spread out. It is interesting, since Anderson did throw 100 pitches on last Friday, would they try to keep him, with a full week's rest, or are they comfortable with him, throwing 6 days later versus 7 days later? Obviously, in the professional baseball ranks, in the major league ranks, or the minor league ranks, 6 is plenty of rest. But in college, everybody's kind of gotten into their routines. And if you throw 100 pitches, you usually don't throw for a week. And, especially because it's not even close to postseason or anything like that, there's a chance that maybe Jay does. But at the same time, Tommy, Ianson threw under 5 innings on Saturday. They wouldn't go with Shores on Thursday, but maybe they would go Ianson Thursday and Anderson Friday. But I tend to think they'll stick with the traditional way and throw Anderson on Thursday when they know they can get the game in, good weather, all that kind of stuff. Because with the rain, you don't know. Are you going to play other games or whatnot?
Yeah, I agree with you. Anderson's draft eligible this summer, so like we saw the way they managed Paul Skeens a couple years ago, knowing that his arm's worth a lot of money and there's potential for a big contract. But again, Jay Johnson meet with the media I think noon today out at Alec Box Stadium, Skip Bert's Field, and I'm sure he's going to address all of that. Hopefully, if he doesn't address it, that the questions come and so the LSU fans can kind of know what's going on.
Jay, known to keep things close to his vest. Just because the question's asked doesn't mean the question will be answered.
He's pretty good at tap dancing.
Yeah,
he can tap dance around a question pretty good. He and many coaches have that skill.
Speaking of LSU, they dominated last night, 10-run rule, the Raging Cajuns. It's been a rough year for the Raging Cajuns. They've got a couple of starters out that'll be back in 2 or 3 weeks. Their shortstop, first baseman, they got some arms they're missing. They're below 500 as a team, 3-3 in the Sun Belt Conference. Last night, they threw a number of freshman pitchers. As you know, you're not going to throw a lot of your top line guys. It's more about James Madison and the Sun Belt, who they play this weekend at home, versus LSU, as much as they would like to win, and the fans would like to win or be more competitive. LSU did something they've only done 8 times in nearly 100 years, and that scored 9 or more runs in the first inning, and that's what they did. They were up 9-1 after 1 inning of play, and then just never looked back, and eventually ended up stretching their lead and 10-run ruling the Raging Cajuns. But that was special. I've been fortunate to be at a lot of games and be a part of LSU baseball for a long time, and that just doesn't happen very often. As we mentioned, 8 times in 100 years. The last time it happened was 11 years ago, back in 2014, when they played a Northern team. Drawing a blank here, but 11 years ago was the last time LSU scored they scored 10 runs in that game. 11 years ago. So saw very, it's like a comet sighting, Tommy. It comes around every so often, about once every decade.
Well, LSU's hitting the heck out of the ball, top to bottom in the lineup. Then they're getting a lot of base on balls. They continue to get hit by pitches. So, and you scored 9 in the first inning, your odds of winning the game go through the roof, above the clouds, way up there, And the fact that, the Raging Cajuns are more worried about James Madison this weekend. When you get down 9-0, then you get some guys in there that just can get some work and get the experience and all that. And it just was all LSU from the get-go, although the Cajuns led 1-0 after the top of the first. But they got it done. LSU did what they were supposed to do, get out of there. And now, again, Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. So they'll play Thursday night at the Box tomorrow night.
Just remembered it was Yale. I said it on the broadcast. Yale was who they scored 10 runs against in the first inning 11 years ago when Paul Maneri was head coach. So LSU baseball team, believe it or not, I think they had 13 hits or something like that yesterday. And yet a lot of guys' batting averages still went down because you go 1 for 3 or 2 for 4. When you're batting over 400, your average goes down.
They had 11 hits, but they had all those walks and hit by batter, but they did commit 11, 2 errors.
Yeah,
what was Milam's error? I didn't see. What did he kick a grounder?
It just ate him up, and then he threw it in the dirt.
And then Hogg got in the game late. He made an error.
Who's that?
Hogg,
yeah. Second baseman, the ground ball to second base, and the throw was wide. He pulled Costello off the bag.
Well, you can live with it when you're up by a lot. You can overcome, but you still don't want to have errors.
Third error for Milam on the season, second error in the last week. But he made a couple of great plays as well. In the first inning, there was a grand slam hit by Jones, at first baseman. It was 100 plus off the bat. It was such a line drive. I thought Tommy wasn't going to have enough height to get out of the ballpark. But if it would have hit the wall, it had gone through it. That's how hard he hit it. He just smashed it. Aaron Beatty had a big night. He had 3 hits. He had a homer, a double, a single. First pitch swinging on a breaking ball up in the zone. His first at bat hit a home run out the ballpark. So the freshman from Tomball, Texas, who started off the season very slow, hitting around 150, now has his average up to 250, and just as another DH option, another pinch hit option. The defense is still way behind Hernandez. But Aaron Beatty offensively is coming around, and he had a homer last Tuesday and another homer. They have so many options. It's a shame that you can't trade players in college because you really should, right? They're professionals. They're getting paid to play. The fact that we're calling it college and we're worried about school is almost a joke. All right.
It is a joke
because LSU has like 7 outfield. Ashton Larson, who was their best player a year ago, isn't even playing, and he's hit 240. You wish you could trade 3 offensive players for like 1 middle reliever, because that's what they need. They're so desperate for middle relief consistency and help. They need 3. If they had 3 arms, middle relievers. I'm not talking about changing anything with Einstein or Shores or Anderson. Like, let them be. Anderson's going to be your best pitcher, your most consistent. He's going to probably give you a quality start 4 out of every 5 times he goes out there. Einstein is probably going to be 3 out of every 5. Shores, more like 50-50. But, it's worth the development with that young fella. And then you have some people pushing him. If you can find 3 middle relievers that they can plug in there on the weekend, and what you're going to get 3 out of every 4 times, 4 out of every 5 times when they go out there and they're going to do their job. This LSU team, I would put on paper they're going to win 20 games. But the middle relief is so inconsistent and so shoddy right now, and so just don't look away and then look back and hope that it's good. That's a real problem spot, and yet they are sitting on a plethora of talent and offense and options. It's really a shit. You imagine what you can get for Reeves right now? The guy's not even starting. He's hitting 389. He's a legitimate SEC infielder, a junior transfer from Blinn Junior College. But right now they're playing him behind Braswell because they feel like they owe Braswell because of last year, and he's a better defensive option at third base than Reeves. But Braswell's hitting 211 or whatever. At some point, 389 is going to trump 211. Reeves is terrible defensively. He's just okay. And Braswell's exceptional defensively at third. But at some point, 211 and 389 ain't going to equal up. That defense ain't going to be worth 150 points.
But when you start Reeves and you play him, if it's a tight game, you get Braswell in 7, 8, 9 to, hopefully make a good play. Ryan, I want to talk about Jared Jones. You mentioned the Grand Slam line drive thing. Remember last summer there was talk, would he go to the draft? Does he come back to LSU? That boy's made some money. His stock has went up. He has worked hard on the swing, got a couple of pounds off the body, and he has made a lot of money here in the first, 5 weeks of the season. Because he is hitting the breaking ball. He couldn't do that 2 years ago. He just got ate up by most good breaking balls, and he's a force in that lineup. I guarantee you, the other pitching coaches, he knows when that guy's on deck, he knows, okay, he's in the hole. They know he makes that kind of difference now, not just with his power, but he's also hitting for average. Didn't he even steal a base the other day or something? I mean, hey, come on.
He's got like 4 stolen bases this year, 4 out of 6 attempts or 7 attempts, something like that. He definitely, I mean, look, LSU's thrilled he did. I mean, imagine this lineup without him. It would look different, no question about it. And we keep saying it on the air. We sound like broken record. I know it, but his at-bats are just so quality. The decision-making in swinging at strikes and taking pitches, the patience is just, it's professional. And he had 28 homers a year ago. I was surprised he came back, but in this day and age where you can make a lot of money in college and still leverage the future, why not?
Well, he's better off making them whatever money he's making, playing in the SEC than riding around on a bus in the Midwest League or the Pacific League or something like that. Yeah, he's making more money probably. So, it was a good move. And I heard you and Lynn talking last night as we talked every game, very basically. Curiel has got to be. Tennessee's got a real good freshman, but Curiel's got to be the best freshman in the country. He's been on base every game. Let that sink in. He's been on base every game, and his knowledge of the strike zone. And as you guys talked about last night, he's a center fielder, but they got him in left right now because you talked about the situation in the outfield. But man, I like to watch that guy at the plate. Man, he knows the strike zone, and he'll hit it the other way. He hits it hard. Some of his outs are loud outs, but man, a lot of talent on this LSU baseball team, and you got 24 more SEC games to go. It's going to be fun.
The only thing you worry about with freshmen and Curiel being one of them, especially
hitting the wall.
Yeah, especially freshmen that aren't big guys, right? He's not a big, strong guy. He's a guy that's, they want him to put on weight. They want him to eat and lift and all that. And they say he has put on 10 to 15 pounds since when he first stepped on campus last summer. But that's the only thing you worry about is the wear down, all the games, all the pressure. Usually players lose weight, position players lose weight during the season because they're not, focused on their nutrition and lifting as much and all that during the season. So that, can that bat get a little heavy? Because the pitching's only going to get better as the season goes on, not worse. But look, he's definitely special, and his mental side is special. And look, I don't know what that outfield's going to look like. Curiel may be playing center before it's all said and done. I mean, do you believe that Stanfield's going to hit over 300 the whole year? I don't know. I don't love the swing. He hasn't done it in his history. He's having a nice year. But, man, you got Fry coming, who's not the best outfielder. He's a converted catcher, but he can clearly play left or right field if need be. Jake Brown's not a great outfielder either. We saw that, over the weekend dropping another ball. But he can play left or right field. You got we haven't talked about Pearson. Do we really believe Ashton Larson's going to be a non-factor this year? The guy was their best hitter in the SEC a year ago. It's incredible. Think about that. The best hitters on their team last year in the SEC average-wise were Larson and Braswell. And Larson's not playing, and Braswell's barely hitting over 200 and is in desperate, and dire straits for keeping his job because Reeves is coming. So they just have so many options, so many options out there in the outfield, and it's awesome. It's fun to watch for this LSU baseball team. All right, what other news? Oh, NFL news.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston on the same team. Now, think about it, how odd that is. Not that they both signed him, because they're both super veteran quarterbacks that they signed for cheap, and they're basically throwing two against the wall, hoping that one sticks. But think about that locker room. Who's going to be the leader? Jameis Winston is the biggest personality on the planet right now. And with his social media and what he's done over the last 6 months on social media and what he did and all the goofballness, but yet the players love it and all that. And then Russell Wilson has been blasted over the years for being this kind of corny coach's boy kind of leader. That is going to be a bizarre locker room.
Well, the New York Football Giants, they continue to make people shake their head and scratch their head and all that. When they signed Winston the other day, we know enough about Winston. He can help you win a football game, okay? He can throw a pick, but he can help you win. And then Russell Wilson, who has never really, he didn't fit in Denver. The Pittsburgh thing was, to use your word, it was a little oogie. And now he goes into the major market of New York, where they've talked about this team. They've talked about the quarterback situation. And, I mean, I was quite stunned when I saw that he signed with the Giants, right? Because they just signed Winston a handful of days ago. But, hey, I'm sure New York has a plan. And, and they're going nowhere in a hurry in the NFC East with the Commanders in there and the Eagles. I mean, the Commanders and the Eagles will be two of the best football teams in the NFL this fall. And then they're going to have this Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson thing, which means you would think they don't draft a quarterback. They talked that they would draft Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward or whatever. But do you really draft a quarterback when you already got these guys?
I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, you got two veterans, and oh, by the way, you got them both cheap, so you can trade one, cut one, or keep them both. I mean, but this obviously means that Aaron Rodgers is going to end up in Pittsburgh. I mean, that's if not, you would have tried to have kept Fields or Wilson, especially if it was only 1 year, $10 million for Wilson to go to the Giants. The Steelers would have kept them, and then they didn't. So even though it hasn't been reported, that's clearly what that means. With what's left out there. And we know that Rodgers visited with the Steelers a few days ago. So I'm excited to see that. I'm so excited to see Aaron Rodgers as a Pittsburgh Steeler, you would assume, and combining him with that iconic organization and coaching staff. That's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, it will be. And of course, for the Saints fans, draft's a month from tomorrow. So a month from tomorrow up in Green Bay, Saints sitting with the number 9 pick as we speak. We know that could change. And Saints fans are keeping an eye on all of that stuff. So we'll see how that goes when we get to that point.
We'll talk to our resident Saints insider this Saturday morning. Joel Davis will join us on Sports Church Radio in his normal 10:30 slot. So tune into that, Sports Church Radio, every 10 to noon on Saturday mornings on ESPN Radio in Lake Charles, Lafayette, and Baton Rouge. And of course, Joel, the most passionate Saints fan on our Sports Church Radio staff, he'll break it down for us and tell us who the Saints are going to pick. And he'll rub my nose in any draft pick that I've poo-pooed over the years that ended up being any good. He'll say, "I told you so." That's what Joel will say.
Do we have a location yet for Saturday?
No, we'll be on the west side. We know that. We'll be on the west side.
We've been over there, but like you said, ESPN Radio and Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Lake Charles, or ESPN Southwest Louisiana. So, yeah, looking forward to Joel. Hunter McCann will be back. He was away from the microphone last week, so we look forward to Saturday morning. Huh?
What city was Hunter in?
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. There you go.
He posted a picture. He went to an NHL game. In Vegas, and that's still on my bucket list to end up at an NHL game one year. So I scratched the Sawgrass TPC thing off the list a few weeks ago, but I do want to go to an NHL. Not that I know a lot about it, but I want to say I went to an NHL game because when you watch them guys on TV, it's just amazing. The talent, skating forward, backward, they look like linebackers in real life. I mean, it's amazing.
What else we got, TK, to hit on?
Well, the TGL has come and gone. The Tomorrow Golf League concluded. Atlanta won the championship. That doesn't mean much to anybody. TV ratings were awful.
No way this comes back, right? No way.
I can't see how it does. And then I've never been a fan of Marty Smith, the ESPN guy. But the other night in the finals, I don't even know who Atlanta was playing. And he asked Matt Fitzpatrick, who was watching one of his teammates about to hit a big important shot in this match, if it compared to when he won the United States Open. And I'm like, come on, Marty Smith. This is Golden Tee with more cameras, okay? And he's been ripped crazily, been torched for that comment, like he's trying to sensationalize and build up this TGL. So big question will be, does it return? I guess we'll find out a little bit later in the year, but it didn't go as those who invested in it hoped that it would.
Well, I think a big reason for that was because Tiger Woods wasn't relevant as well. He wasn't good at it. He didn't play well. Obviously, he's not super involved in it to the point that they would want. Like if Tiger Woods had become, was healthy and was doing well, or his teams were doing well, he was just all in on it, then the league had a chance. Without him, it has no chance. And oh, by the way, Tiger Woods, we know why he's not all in, because he's distracted. He's got some things going on. Just got married to Donald Trump Jr.'s ex-wife, and that was the buzz on social media this past week. Incredible, huh? The Tiger, Tiger. I mean, it's just amazing. I guess billionaires run with billionaires down there in Palm Beach.
You got that right for sure.
By the way, speaking of Donald Trump Jr., he was in New Orleans for the Super Bowl. And I actually was at a party that the governor threw, and he was there with his family, and saw him, he was 5 feet from me and dancing with his daughter. He brought his young daughter there as well. And so Donald Trump Jr. was in town for the Super Bowl and all that last week.
Why didn't you line him up for Sports Shorts Daily or Sports Shorts Radio? I mean, come on, man. That would have been different.
I don't know that I got 2 feet from him with all the security. But
there you go.
It's a lot's been made about if you see the pictures of Donald Trump Jr.'s wife now and Donald Trump Jr.'s ex-wife, which is now Tiger Woods' wife, and they're saying.
But I don't think Tiger married her. They're dating.
I thought they got married.
Didn't see that.
Okay.
I may have missed it.
Yeah, maybe I read the headline wrong. I don't know, but I was surprised that he announced it. I heard that he came out public with that relationship because it was going to get brokered by some other source, and so he decided he want to beat him to the punch. But I always like it when celebrities come out and say, "Hey, please give us some privacy," but yet they're announcing, and here's pictures of them, but please give us some privacy. Well, wouldn't you not put out pictures? Would you not announce it and just let it trickle out through some
a lot of that is intentionally leaked out, and then they're like, "Oh, we can't believe they said that," but then they fed the story. So I mean, we know how that goes. That happens in the celebrity world, happens in the sports world, happens in the politics world.
Tell us about Tremonti's, TK.
Well, today they got the lunch special. They do it every Wednesday, $6.99 burger or fries. You can get it to go. You can eat it here. Mike and the staff do a great job. Stop by. Got to have boiled crawfish Friday, Saturday, live crawfish if you want to boil them up yourself. It's all at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge. Check them out. Come see the great wine selection, the bourbon, the liquor, all your Chairman's Reserve meats, the Wagyu steaks, the bacon, everything you need. Seafood. It's all at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood right here in Baton Rouge. Do check it out. Hey, don't forget to like and share this show, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or X. Give it a like and share. We'll be back Friday morning with more Sports Shorts Daily. On behalf of Ronnie Rance, I'm Tommy Price saying, have a great day, everybody.